Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of RM Real Talk. Real stories, real faith, real talk. On today's episode, we're talking all about relationships and community. And fun fact, today I'm hosting the host.
Yeah.
So I have here with me the ever-present...
Kweku Boateng, aka Rojeji. And I don't want to, let me mention this one. Today she's wearing her tag. She's wearing her tag.
Yes, guys.
I don't have mine, Charlie. I actually can't find it, but I know I'll find it somewhere. But she's wearing hers today, Sister Boama. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, ours. But it is neat too.
Yeah, this is not my original tag. This was like my scripture tag.
Oh, okay. I guess maybe mine knew that you were coming with a very clean one because mine is very dirty. The Konongo streets, Charlie. We're walking on the Konongo streets.
Hey, fun fact, mine was also dirty too. Although like England is not dirty, but like it got dirty.
So how did we get dirty?
I don't know. I think people touched it too much because like the Jesus Christ part has even like wiped off. So
People were touching your tag.
I didn't put my tag here. My tag was always like up there.
Okay.
Yeah, people have to see what's on the tag.
What's that?
Anyways. So yeah, we understand missions can be challenging and rewarding at the same time, but the people we meet often become the heart of our experience. We'll talk with Rojeje today about the people he met on his mission, how he built friendships with his companions, how he formed meaningful ties with the people he served, and how he leaned on his mentors who guided him through tough times. These are the connections that turn a mission into a lifelong network of love and support. Let's get into it.
All right.
To start off, I want us to talk about companionship bonds.
Yeah.
You know, we've spoken a lot about our companions either ways, but today I want us to explore. So I want to find out from you, how did working closely with fellow missionaries strengthen your ability to serve?
Okay. The beautiful thing here for me was that the companion I had at the missionary training center, shout outs to Emeka Osuji. Yeah, Stanley. Yeah, he became my companion on mission too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he became my companion on mission at Winneba. Yeah, I think, Winneba. And when I met him at the MTC, the interesting thing was that I love radio. I love, doing, being on radio, or let's say microphones, anything MC and all that, entertainment. And he was a journalist. He had been on radio before. So when we met at the MTC, we got to know that, about each other.
That's cool.
So the interesting thing was that after MTC, we went onto the field and then we met again. And then that was where we began to really understand each other and how we could better, use our talents and all that. And it was so beautiful that when he was leaving mission, when he was going home, he actually left 2 transfers before me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I would love to share something from my journal. Since today we have our journals here.
Yeah, guys, you forgot to mention we have our journal.
Yeah, we have our journals here. So I would share with you something he said he wrote in my journal when he was going home. And hey, where you at? Okay. Hey, I can't find his entry, yo. The entry's plenty, yo.
Well, while you find the entry, before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to pay a special tribute. It was announced today that the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Prophet Russell M. Nelson, has passed away. His life and ministry have deeply impacted Latter-day Saints around the globe, including many missionaries, past and present. And although it's a sad news, I think it's also a rejoicing time for us as members of the church, knowing what we know, especially about the plan of salvation. We wish his family our deepest condolences. We are with them in our prayers and in their prayers as well. May the Lord be with him wherever he finds himself, and we know he's resting in the bosom of our Heavenly Father. Let's get back to you.
Yeah, till we meet again. May he rest. All right. So, like I mentioned, this entry is from Emeka Osuji Stanley. And when he was leaving, he said, I feel like calling you Socrates or Aristotle or Confucius or one of the great philosophers in philosophy, because I think that's one of the ways I would remember you, the great missionary philosopher. My man, it's been quite a journey. Unfortunately, I didn't keep a faithful record, but I can still remember great times we had. I particularly remember my first night at the MTC. In my memory, if my memory serves me right, you were the only missionary who came down to help his companion. By the way, thanks for that. The work is almost done. We are done what we came to do. The work will continue. The work will continue at home, especially the one concerning the plan of salvation. Be very careful with that one. Please, I beg, stay in touch. I would like to know how popular you become as a radio presenter. Take care, amigos. Ada Emeka Osuji.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so cool. So cool. So the ending was like how I become popular as a radio presenter. And yes, I haven't become a popular radio presenter, but when it comes to this podcast space and MCing and all that, people, know JJ. So I think that's one thing that he has gotten to know and he's, happy about anytime, we talk. So yeah, that's one thing that I would like to share.
That's interesting. I like that you brought up, the first thing was the strategy on how you guys built the friendship.
Yep.
You people had a lot in common. I mean, you were both yappers, if I should say. But in a professional way, please don't come for me. So yeah, that's the strategy, like finding something you guys can share so that if you're not talking about boring missionary stuff, if I should say, you would still have a connection, because it's not just the gospel that can connect us, our talents, who we are as people. So I like that. I think for me, I always go back to the fact that a lot of who we are or who we become is influenced by the people we are around. You realize that once you're around someone for a long time, you start behaving like them in a way. You start talking like them.
Drops on you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time, as much as you want to compromise, you even start liking the things you disliked before meeting them. So you start enjoying the things they enjoy as well as them you also. So yeah, working closely with missionaries, with my companions that I met, I think greatly impacted my life. It really influenced me. Most of the time we were in England, but you see that like you talk in an American accent or pop in somewhere, then you know that she's working with an American. Their testimonies. I think my trainer, for instance, when I eventually got into understanding her and trying to get into the act of missionary work, she shared with one of our friends her story on how she really received like true conversion. And she described this whole experience. I think in the moment it sounded very, not necessarily weird, but it was a little bit off for me. But sitting down, looking at the type of person she was, how she behaved, it really did a thing on me. It helped me understand who she truly was. And I think most of the time when we went around, I always carried that conviction in my heart that if this is the reason why she's here on the mission, I think she needs the support that I can give so that together we can create an impact in people's life. So yeah, I think, people really influence us.
Yeah,
and
good.
It's always important in building relationships anyway.
Yes,
So yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. That's why you should be careful where sometimes when those you mingle with, because our parents wouldn't want us to associate with certain people because they know that they can influence.
There's a lasting impact. Yeah,
So
definitely.
you'd always want to associate with people with positive attitudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we've spoken about companions. How about the locals, the people we went to actually, I mean, we did serve our companions, but the people who were there for, how did you connect to the locals? What are some of the strategies you use to build trust or genuine friendships? I'll go first.
Okay.
For England, something I realized was people like to connect over like small talks. If they meet you, it's a passing hello. So you know how in Ghana, like we stand to say, hi, how are you doing? And the person at the other end like responds with an actual, oh, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
People don't like that. It's hiya, you're right. And then they are gone.
Yeah.
So before you can answer, they are probably where they are supposed to be at. But if they actually stop to have a conversation, the first thing that might come out of their mouth will be the weather. So be like, it's a good weather, innit? And you start talking about the weather for like, you can talk for 30 minutes. So you start comparing weathers from around the globe. Like, oh, I'm from Ghana. It's quite hot there. But, you know, it's different in England and everything. So one of the strategies I adapted was talking about the weather. So every time before I leave the house, I need to check what degree are we on today? How is it going to be like? Because sometimes it's cold in the morning, it's hot in the afternoon. So when you meet people in the morning, you tell them, oh, stay hopeful. It's going to get warm, you know? So yeah, one of my strategies was talking about the weather and also enjoying their food.
Oh, okay.
Not to throw shame, but our food is quite spicy and like good. Their food is okay, but it's not spicy. And there's no seasoning. There's no like salt. It's just they give you the salt and the black pepper to add.
Yeah,
If you think there's no seasoning. And sometimes, like you're at a member's house, she feels she's done her best. You can't, you know.
Yeah,
so you have
just
to
add it. Yeah, do it.
No, it's so rude.
Do it yourself.
It's something I felt like, oh, nobody's using the salt and pepper. If I pick the shakers right now, it will look like wow. So I did not do a good enough job.
Well, you have a point. But
so yeah, like cutting through the chicken and you're praying, God, please don't let me puke in this person's house. So yeah, one of the strategies was to enjoy the food, even if it's not good, because it's just food. It will come out anyway.
Yeah.
How about you?
I guess mine. Your last one was one of my first ones. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, food, Charlie. And the good thing was I served in Ghana. I served in the south.
I'm jealous.
Western part of Ghana. So
all the meat.
Yeah, the fufu and the ampisi and all those things was still like there. And I love food. And one thing that brings people together a lot is food. Yeah. So, and when we go over as missionaries to eat their food, for me, I think I haven't really changed when it comes to my perception about everything, about life and about almost everything around us. So I always continue to try to share my perspective about a particular thing or about life so that is where I get people who are like me or people who also feel like, yeah, they can relate with what I'm saying. They also share their parts of, with like what they think with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in Konongo, there was this man who nicknamed me Akwada Yesu or something. Yeah, I don't really remember, but he sees me and he goes like, hey, Akwada Yesu. Like, because when I see I think he was a counselor to the stake president then. So, but when we have discussions, he feels like, this guy, like, what is it? Like, as a Najimudo, like, he likes to, and that is the thing. I've always loved philosophy. So,
was it like in a controversial way or
not controversial, but very easy? Like, I try to bring up certain perspectives that what I think about it, and it feels like, yeah, he would also share his part, but kind of like, yeah, it is true, and then he'll add his parts to it, and I learn so much when I meet people like that. And for me, that was one of my strategies. I even when I go out to teach or when I'm with my companion or anything, that was how I would begin our conversations. And then I can now bring in the scriptures to support, and I'll bring in some of our local proverbs and all that to support. And then at the end of the day, we make certain, we teach,
That's good. Yeah, while you were speaking, I was thinking of finding middle ground. Most of the time when you tell people you're philosophical, they think, oh, he's controversial. Or when you start sharing your ideas, they start thinking, oh, he's controversial.
People think I'm controversial.
No, I've not met that side yet. Maybe I'll think so. But I'm thinking in terms of like the leader you were talking about, mostly he had to find middle ground with you. Because sometimes we can carry conversations away. We can start making the seemingly little things that we're talking about that are like in an empathetic way sound like we are trying to challenge one another. So always finding middle ground. I think it's also a way we build trust with people. Because if I start talking to you and it's like I'm challenging everything you say, it'll be very difficult for you to relate to me. But if we find common ground, at least there's something we both agree on and we can stand on that.
True.
Disagree to agree or agree to disagree.
I disagree to agree.
Agree to disagree. I think it's agree to disagree.
Yeah, it's agree to disagree.
But yeah, that's about it. Well, we'll talk about our mentors on mission. So, for missionaries, in terms of mentors, it would be your leaders, both at home or at places you are serving, which are your mission presidents. Sometimes your parents, if they are members, or even if they are not members, your family back home, all of those people can play key roles in your journey as a missionary. How did these mentors play a role in yours?
Yes, big shout outs to Martin Obing. Yeah, he was then my bishop. Yeah, great man. He really helped me or prepared me, to go on mission. And while I was on mission, he was the only person I could really think about and then try to move on. Because when I think about all the great things that he had shared with me, and how he related with me, those were the things that kept me going on mission. And then I would also mention my first companion, Michael Okonkwo, yeah. He was my Okonkwo.
Where was he from?
Nigeria.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Not that I know him, but
yeah.
Sounded like a Ghanaian.
Yeah, Okonkwo. And Okonkwo could speak Tree like he was like from here. He had stayed here for years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when I met him in Konongo, he could really speak Tree. And he taught me so much. And I know he's doing great right now. So I think he was one of the people too. And then I remembered my mom. Yes, my mom, growing up, she would teach us with a lot of proverbs. So, for instance, when she would ask you to do something for her, and then you go like me, and then she goes like, she would say something like, "Ohin kwakra eni sisi no."
Oh, yeah,
ohin bantie. So on mission, some of these things came back to me.
Oh.
Some of these things that she would say came back to me, and it helped me, in my journey on mission. So, I can say these three people were my main mentors, or people who really I admired the way they had related with me, and I was related with them.
That's cool. I just remembered an experience with my mission leader. I was trying to see if I can go through my journal and find it. But I think one way my mentors impacted my mission was through my mission leader, my then mission President Galaka, and his wife. I remember I'd stayed in the office for 2 transfers as a social media missionary, and that was like my first 2 transfers of the mission. So when the time came for me to go out, I felt like I was now adjusting to the office. Like, okay, now I feel like I am a part of it. I have an idea of because I was new and I was in the office. And everybody kept repeating like, she's new, why is she in the office? So I started doubting my capabilities, like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing here.
To be on the field.
I thought I wanted to be on the field until they told me to go on the field. And I was like, wow, I wish I was in the office. And I always remembered one thing he said. I think when he first had a chat with me about transferring me, he spoke about how he felt like I needed change. Because, most of the time I do need change. I get used to environment so easily. So he recognized that and he felt like I needed change. And this was like one of the toughest changes I had been through in my life.
To be on the field?
Like to move from the area I was now getting comfortable into a different field. Okay. It felt like starting all over again. Like, okay, I had just come on the mission. Because now I was actually going to do what everybody was doing on a regular. My itinerary was different from every missionary. Like most of the time, I'll just wake up, go straight into the office, edit videos, or just sit down, through meetings with the mission president. But now I was fully like dedicated to just finding and teaching. And I think it was a little bit hard for me because the area was also like just opening for sisters. Yeah. So you get it.
Wow.
A
No
series of
area book.
changes.
No area book for you to actually like
Nothing.
go through and all.
Because
Yeah,
we do not have the books. You are using our phones and they're giving you this portion of the map to like be around. Oh my goodness. I felt like
new contacts and everything.
yeah, it was very difficult. But I think I always remembered like most of the things my mission president counseled me about. It's going to be good. It gets hard. There were times where we didn't have internet in the house. So most of the time we have to wake up very early, get dressed. Although we did have a car, we have to like drive to the chapel, use the internet there. To everyone, it sounds like, okay, that's easy. You could have done that. But when it's harsh weather conditions, losing your tie in the middle of the road.
It's always a difficult part.
It's not comfortable. It's very harsh. So yeah, he really impacted my life because most of the things he would always say to me during my interviews, whenever we would meet him. I remember one time I told him, President, I've been crying a lot. Like it's very hard in this area. And he said, well, go and read President Hinckley's wife's talk to BYU students. She said she prefers to laugh because crying gives her a headache. And yeah, that really stayed with me throughout my mission. Whenever I felt like crying, I'll be like, okay, let me just laugh through it because yeah, after I'll end up with a headache than end up as a.
But why does that happen? Because when I cry too, I have headache.
That's too much science that I don't want to talk about.
Oh, I've cried. I cried. Yeah, I cried. I cried like when I had I think one broken heart. I cried.
Was that the only thing that would make you cry, bro?
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. The first time I told my mom I loved her, I cried.
Oh yeah, he said it's the last time.
Yeah, I cried.
He cried.
That one too, I cried. Wow. Oh yeah, I cried. I cried. That one too, I cried. Yeah, and then I with my wife, we've cried a couple of times.
Oh, couples that live together cry.
Yeah, there were some tough times, Charlie. Some crazy times, man.
You've just started, and there's already been tough times.
No, before we got before we got married, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm a human being.
Real men cry. Cry, guys. It's good. Sometimes your eyes.
Oh no, but I mean, soon check.
On a concluding note, I want us to talk about challenges with building relationships and the impact all of these relationships have brought into our lives. What are some of the challenges you faced? Or what were the hardest parts about building relationships, especially across cultures? You know, you did have the opportunity to serve with some people from the States, some from Nigeria, people that weren't locals. So yeah, what were some of the challenges and how has the relationships you've built or you built on your mission, how do they continue to impact your journey in life?
Yeah, well, I think one of the hardest parts of building relationships will be when differences, when you don't know how to accept the difference, each other's like differences. Yeah. So like you mentioned, I served with people from the US, South Africa, Nigeria, and with all these ones, there were the parts that tested our relationships as companions were always the parts where we didn't understand each other's perspective of what was going on. Yeah, so it was so difficult. It is now that I have tried, I try my best to understand the other person's perspective and try to understand why the person does what they do or said what they say, that kind of thing. And I know there's a scripture in, I think, Ecclesiastes, which talks about two can't walk together unless they agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've always loved the fact that as human beings, we can sit and discuss, try to understand. And like you mentioned, we agree to disagree, try to understand each other's perspective, and then it shouldn't be about opposing every time. We can agree to it. Yeah, we can compromise sometimes, accept this one and go on with it and all that. And that reminds me out. I think we've talked about. I've mentioned one of my companions who I had a very tough time with in Konongo.
In our previous episodes.
Yeah, one of our episodes. Yeah, and interestingly, when he was going, I think he also shared something with me, which I have here in my journal, and I would like to read. It's interesting. Okay, so he goes like, "Dear Elder Boateng, so we have been companions for about 76 days now. That's a good amount of time. We had some hard times, but those were because of my stupid attitude. Thanks for always putting up with me. Now, we can't forget all the good times either. I did have a lot of fun with you."
That's cool.
Elder. And I thought, okay, fun with you, Elder. And I thought that we did teach well together. And that was the part, I think, where we had some misunderstanding, and then we called mission president. But that day, when we still went out to teach. And we came back and thought like nothing had happened. Man, it was
cool.
Nice. And I'm sure that's what he's referring to. And then he also said, "Hey, you're a good teacher. Keep it up because the people need you." And then he goes into brackets, "My handwriting is really bad." And then he goes like, "Anyway, I don't have any advice for you. I just hope that in the past 76 days or so, I said something to spark an idea in your head. I never taught anyone anything. I just say what I know. Then they understand it, and the Holy Ghost taught them. So, hey, in ending, thanks for everything you've done for me. I did have fun in Konongo, and thanks for helping me learn the little bit of tree I know. Keep contacting, man, because you are good at it. You really understand the power of your calling, Elder Smith, darling." And then he leaves his contact at the back. So, yeah, with all this, I draw a lot of inspiration from some of these things, and going forward, even right now, I use that in my relationships, at work, with my associates, with my wife, almost everywhere I go. Yeah, so this is one of my favorites.
That's interesting because it reminds me of something President Nelson shared in his April 23 conference about being peacemakers. And I think it's an essential part of being missionaries with our companions, with the people we meet, the locals. And just like you both found, like you found peace in the middle of chaos. And at a time when it was time to say your goodbyes, you were able to say good stuff about each other. Although there had been bickering moments, there had been times where there was a lot of misunderstanding, but also always you both were able to come to a conclusion of trying to understand each other if you didn't understand each other completely.
That's the most important part.
So it's always important to try and come back to being a peacemaker because it's always important to end personal conflicts. I think for me, one of the challenging times or a personal challenge is some people might argue, but I'm quite reserved in a way. If I have an issue with you, I have the tendency of just being quiet about it. I'm not one to like really confront. Maybe now I've changed a bit, but I'm not one to really like come up to you or confront you in any way. I always feel like people are reasonable, like people are sensible. We all have common sense.
Did you know that they've offended you?
Same way that if I offend someone, I know in my heart that I've offended you, but to come up, sometimes it will take me a while because I have to like prepare myself. I can easily like break down and cry. Crying is good.
It's good for the soul.
But so I'll come to that point. But then, I had a moment with one of my companions. So I'm also going to read from my journal, guys. Finally, something to share from my journal. And I think that day was very hard for her. I don't really remember exactly what happened because, I'm sure it was just one of those days that...
As you read it will come.
I have tried. I have read it already. But it was sweet. It goes like, Sister Boama, thank you for taking time to write to me. So most of the time too, when I understand there's something between us, I would write because I know if I start talking, it might not go well. But when I write, I can articulate my thoughts. I understand all that you said. It's really easy to say things that we don't mean. I do it all the time as well. And so I am sorry about that. I didn't mean to call you dumb. someone called me dumb. Can you imagine? As you said, emotions get involved and sometimes things are said that shouldn't be said. I was just frustrated because I wanted to talk about it so that we could move forward with our day and have the spirit with us. So thank you for writing to me because I feel 100% better. Sometimes I am quick to take offense, but I'm also quick to forgive. I'm grateful for our companionship, our friendship, so thank you. If you haven't noticed, I have very little confidence in myself. This is coming from someone that I thought was like very confident in herself. So I don't know why she thought that about herself. So when I feel like I do certain things that are stupid, then someone points them out as well. I tend to be very hard on myself. That's why it's very easy for me to get offended. It's something I am working on, so thank you for being patient with me. Love you tons, Sister Wama. I hope you know that let's make today a good day. Every day is a good day to be a missionary. That was like our mission slogan. And I thought this was so sweet.
Yeah.
It was from my last companion. And
Yes.
yeah, she's like a sister to me. So I didn't want to end my mission on like a bickering note where maybe something silly that might have come up like calling me dump or something would ruin our relationship. So I was glad I was able to write what I felt and she also wrote back.
Nice. Whilst you were reading, I was just thinking about the church and the missionary program. And I think I haven't been to other churches but I don't know of any other program that whilst people are doing like serving or going through, will really cause you to understand, know yourself, know your environment, and make you such a better person spiritually and like temporally. So I always think that the church is true and it is a very good organization to belong to.
The missionary program is a good one.
Yeah, it's
one that helps us build community.
I'd love to go back for mission.
Oh, please.
I'd love to go back.
On that note of returning back, when he probably decides to be a mission president, I mean, he can't decide to be, but yeah. Let's hope the Lord calls him to go back. It doesn't get easy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, it's been wonderful having you.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful being the host and co-hosting the host.
I have a feel of it.
I like this feel, but I don't want it to like stay. So it's been an interesting one. I'm glad we could sit and talk about community and relationships we built on our mission, and also appreciate our late President Nelson.
Yeah.
We're grateful for his teachings, and it would always have a lasting impact in our lives.
101.
Do you want to do the closing?
Yeah, so, as we always say, RM, real talk, real stories, real faith, real talk. This is where we discuss things about returned missionaries and, how we can inspire ourselves and also those who watch this program. So until we meet again on the next episode, just enjoy your life.
It's a wrap.